there was a body discovered in Gas. So it's on the outskirts of the Castle. So I went to check myself because I'm one of the community members that are active. So I got to the scene and that's when I saw the sacrifice of Haley Ministry.
Iyo into bethu so ukuthi ukhulelwe and then wadutshulwa. Azange bamdubule kuphela bamhenga esihlahleni for wonke umuntu ukuthi abone ukuthi udutshuliwe ukhulelwe usesihlahleni. It was not even when you think about it or you try to imagine it, because you don't imagine such things, but when you try to, especially when you tell a story, you want to, they would say color, you bring color to the story, but this was not a very colorful story. And even if you try to get the details into the whole thing, it was not colorful. It was dark.
You know, life have changed. Ke khotse mo nakong ene ke tseba gore motho wa ntate o tshwana le a refuge. You can o tshabele ko yena ha le mo mathateng, and then ha o tshabela mo mothong wa ntate because he is strong. This man will protect you. But today into ha di jwalo bontate ba fetogile di enemy mo bathong ba bona.
Ngicabanga ukuthi okay, whatever problem engizoba nayo or enginayo ngizosizakala.
They think and believe that this is a real man or woman of God.
Avela avule wembathe iduvet cover. Avela ivula yithi mengithoma akagqokile ngezansi. Avela athatha iBhayibheli alibeke ekhanda lami. Nje ngithandaze ngokukhumbulayo ukuthi athi yena uNkulunkulu akasixolele for izone esisazozenza manje.
Can you imagine going to bury your father? You're heartbroken. Everyone is heartbroken. The whole family is there. The last thing you'd want to imagine is that somebody is going to pull out a gun and kill someone dear to you.
People's emotions at the funeral went from being in mourning to being in utter shock, and also concern for Pumeza, who had now had to be rushed to hospital. And people at the funeral was like nudging each other as to who's this person that's dressed in this dress. And I don't think he had gotten lots of practice with the heels, and he's a tall, lanky man. And he was now wearing a dress and a wig.
And everybody was asking, Lady Elteneli, I come to Damas, Bangumdo. He was driving a hired car. Wayenza ke lonto yakhe wayifumana igap wasondela kuPhumeza.
He took out a gun
and he shot uPhumeza. I think xa ndisiva kuthiwa babesayehla bezawuya to the grave. Wayenza ke lo mission, but
there were spades within close vicinity because they were digging graves. Someone then hit that person, Xolani rather, with the spade, and the wig fell off. And then it revealed who he was. And then they started beating him up. And at the same time, people are rushing to get Pumeza some help to get her to hospital because she had been shot.
There is 14 million rands that is missing, and it went into Sibongile Mane's account. But the police should be able to satisfy themselves as to, was this intentional? Who else was supposed to be charged or investigated for that matter? Because in my opinion, she should not be the only person that should be investigated and taken to court and trialed.
Bodi patsi o dikirilwe mo fridging tse dingwe di kirilwe ko tlhogo e kirilwe ko go ya line ya Freenege. So ga ba bua gore why go diragetse yalo. do tse dingwe re utlwile morago this year ga ntse a le ko kgoto gore why ana a di-body parts di le mo fridge.
Or by the time when this story broke out, versus to just in my own assessment, those body parts would have been on the fridge for more than a month by the time the story broke out. So imagine on daily basis, how many days that this guy had the body parts in the fridge, opening that fridge and putting his own food, etc., etc. So you put yourself in those shoes, and it's shocking.
He explained in his confession that after he found out that Tsapang was cheating on him, he started plotting how to kill her.
From the period of September until early October, I was mostly on the internet searching for ways to kill the deceased and also for the quickest way to dispose of a corpse.
Flavio explained in his confession that they got into a fight. He pushed her. Tsapang hit her head at the edge of the stove, and she fell, and then she was bleeding. So as Tsapang tried to get up, then Flavio stabbed her on the neck, and then she died immediately.
Or about the 6th day of October 2021, the deceased and I met at the house where we sat and we spoke. I then left, taking her bank card to go buy food without asking her first. When I came back, the deceased confronted me about this, and this started an argument between us, which at the time created an opportunity for me to actually kill her as I had planned.
Karabo's face on that footage tells a story on its own. She looked despondent. She looked sad. She didn't look like somebody who was excited to be going to fix things with her boyfriend. According to the CCTV footage at Sandton Sky, Sandile Manswe left his apartment and went down to collect a wheelie bin. He was then seen going up to his apartment with what appears to be an empty bin, and a couple of hours later, he's seen dragging that same bin out of his apartment and into the lift down to the basement. Now, although we can't really tell what was in the bin, it seemed heavy, and there was what looked like white sheets that were protruding from the bin itself.
Describe you in any other way than a devil in disguise.
Look, when I say Sandile Manswe was disrespectful, I mean that Sandile Manswe was disrespectful out of what happened. But still, he was so confident, thinking that I am the only person who's correct, the other people are wrong. After he was convicted, I asked Sandile Manswe, do you have anything to say to Karabo Mukwena's people? He said, Sandile said, no, I am sorry.
Linda Gukhle had been at the butchery in Mlazi's K section, and Mvuyisi had come through in a taxi. And from what they understand, Mvuyisi had gone to meet a dealer there that actually deals in marijuana, weed. And he had gone to buy some weed. And it's not known whether, it was premeditated to the extent that Mvuyisi had gone there specifically knowing that Linda Gukhle was there. Mvuyisi and Linda Gukhle get into this argument, and, Mvuyisi ends up producing a knife and stabbing him. He was stabbed multiple times. And while his aggressor was stabbing him, he was begging for his life. And, no one should beg for their life in that manner. And while begging, he was apologizing to his attacker, although he had done nothing wrong, And this was where people started saying he was murdered just for being homosexual.
Ngoba ngokuba amaphepha beza kumina bazobuza ukuthi isigwebo sizophuma ngakusasa, ngiyajabula yini umbulali sezogwetshwa. Ngathi kodwa ke manje ngiyajabula kodwa ke isigwebo angisazi. Nokuthi noma ngagwetshwa ngeke mina eyami ingane isavuka.
I'm not happy with the sentence that he received. 25 years and then we're out again? No.
25 years, and according to 25 years for life for human life, it's a maximum penalty, but Nakona, it feels wrong. I would have lived a full life and would have been happy with his life, would have been fulfilled with his life.
After siqedile ukuhenga le ngane ezo-3, he then decided to go and collect ayakhe esikoleni. He requested and went to her school. Efika wambona, and then ayakhe tried to hide from him, but already wasembonile wamemeza ukuthi ayakhe asambe. So they left with ayakhe. What he told her was that bayolanda uma wakhe esikoleni. Behla ehlathini, some area in a bushy area elapha in New Germany. New Germany is outside Pinetown. So he went there, hamba nayo ayakhe wambamba ngesandla. So after realizing ukuthi ayakhe is much bigger, she can't just strangle her with the rope amlengisa just like he did nengane. So he decided ukuthi avele amkinye lapho on the spot. So wamphushela phansi wamkinya. So he said ayakhe tried to fight. He said that he tried by all means ukuthi amsuse and remove him from ukuthi ampushe away, but because obviously he's a man, and then he pushed it down until waze wathula. So from there he then left, and then wahamba wayophuza.